Next, we hear some analysis on how the fallout from the Chinese spy balloon could affect American commerce. An expert weighs in on the impact to businesses and whether it could lead to more jobs coming back from overseas. Joining us now is the founder and CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Business Council, Javier Palomarez. It is great having you with us today, Javier.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Good morning to you.
Tensions are running high between the U.S. and China amid the spy balloon fallout. How is this going to affect American small businesses?
There's a lot of unknowns and uncertainty as to what happens next with China, but clearly things don't seem to be getting better. And as these tensions rise between that nation and ours, I think the implications for our economy and our small businesses are not to be ignored. I think from an economic perspective, as I look at what's going on, my thinking turns to two things. First, manufacturing, and then technology. From a manufacturing standpoint, between imported goods, textiles, and appliances, you're looking at about $158 billion of imports from China on an annual basis. These are the things that you and I and every American family and every American small business relies upon just to operate on a daily basis. If we lose that portion of the supply chain, the impacts are going to be immense, and the brunt of those impacts will be on the American small business community. From a technology standpoint, between equipment and components to include semiconductors and chips, you're looking at an additional $135 billion in imports on an annual basis. And just to kind of put it into context, Kevin, if you remember COVID era at its height in 2021, during that year alone, because of the cutting off of the supply chain from China to the U.S., our economy lost over $248 billion in that year alone.
So describe how this supply chain dynamic works. I mean, would Beijing, for example, not want to include U.S. in the supply chain, given that they're now accusing the U.S. of flying these same crafts over their country, which the White House is denying?
For our Small Business Association, our concern is to ensure that our legislators, that the administration, that the president himself, it looks at it from a business perspective, as well as the implications for things as drastic as war. Our concern, predominantly as it relates to what's happening right now, are the small business issues and the impact on the American economy. Small businesses that operate in this sector will be the first to suffer and will suffer the longest.
What's the best way to look at this from a business perspective?
In our mind, Kevin, this is another indication, a clear one, that we need to bring manufacturing jobs back to America. We need to be at a place where the source for American goods is America. These jobs need to be brought back here. We need to wean our dependency from adversaries like China.
And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has a similar viewpoint. He criticized the U.S. dependence on Chinese-made products. He said, quote, "We need to recapture all the supply chains and get them out of China and bring them back here." So will this balloon incident expedite reshoring American jobs from China?
From DeSantis' lips to God's ear, hopefully that's what will happen. I think this is a very clear indication to this administration that we need to get busy and get on about the business of bringing manufacturing back to the United States. As it turns out, 99% of domestic manufacturers happen to be the small businesses that we advocate on behalf of. So we would be thrilled to inform their strategy for bringing these manufacturing jobs back to the United States. I couldn't agree more with Governor DeSantis.
Yes, it'd be good for you to give them a path forward. Now, the founder and CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Business Council, Javier Palomarez, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.